Hi there. I'm doing this vlog because I'm having a hard time tonight. I don't know exactly what I'm going to say, and I don't know if I'll make this vlog public. I'm feeling really incredibly alone. Whew, it's hard to say. And it feels like maybe, just maybe, if I do this, if I connect this way, I'll feel less alone. A lot of us are feeling alone. I get it. I get it. We're in the middle of this worldwide pandemic, and lots of us are quarantining, staying in place. I've been here where I've been living for, oh, what is it now? I've lost track of time. Early March, whatever that is. I just went through a breakup a month ago today, actually, yeah. And there's just a lot of stuff going on for all of us. I get that. But I'm feeling particularly alone. So, and I'm also uncomfortable. I saw the chiropractor today and he worked on my hips and yeah, monkey. So, the alone thing. I'm aware a lot of it has to do with conditioning. So I'm prone to saying, oh, just my conditioning. Just. Just is a 4-letter word. It's just my conditioning. The power of our unresolved issues, early childhood trauma cannot be understated. That stuff is fierce. It'll sneak up and grab us. I'm going to keep this in first person. I'm not going to speak on your behalf. I'm not going to speak on behalf of all of humanity, even though, gosh darn it, I think I could. Part of what I'm going through in the I said it wrong. The conscious uncoupling process is to look at the core wound, what's the phrase that she uses for it? It's the early childhood trauma, sort of the underlying lies that we believed from a very early age when we didn't yet have the mental cognitive capacity to explain away the stuff that happened to us that hurt us. So we formed childlike emotional conclusions about why painful things happened to us. So for me, one of my core wounds is feeling alone, and I haven't yet figured out exactly how that got cemented into place. I was the firstborn of firstborns. I was doted on. I was loved. I had a lot of attention, but there was also a high degree of expectations about how a child should behave. Um, my parents were in their early 20s, 21 and 22 when I was born, so they didn't have a fully formed prefrontal cortex. I, I'm not going to go so far as to say that they were brain damaged, but they didn't have all of their cranial capacity for dealing with a little human like unto me. And I was fairly intense, fairly much a handful, very strong-willed, emotional, verbal at a very early age, all of those things. Highly intuitive. I knew who I was and I said so. And that's daunting to deal with if you want control, if you don't want any kind of upset. And I was a child who came equipped with an emotional repertoire that included upset. So whatever happened, or whatever I picked up or concluded, it was that I'm too much, I'm too intense, and people can only take me in small doses. I've spent a lot of time in my life trying to dial me down, to not be overwhelming. And yet, God, what that does to me, to have to repress who I am. And it's not like I'm always loud, always on, always needing or wanting attention. It's that I'm real and I want genuine, authentic connection with people who matter to me. And I can tell when people aren't being real with me. I've got a really sharp BS detector. I know when someone's not telling me the truth, or when they're lying to themselves. And then when I ask about that and I'm told, no, you're making up a story, or you're fabricating something, you're picking up on what's not happening, then I'm gaslit and I start to doubt my intuition, my own truth. And then I can't trust myself. And if I can't trust myself, what have I got? I'm trying to decide how much to say and how much not to say about some things I'm experiencing, because other people are involved and I want to honor them. But I'm in some pain. I am. One of my other core wounds, one of the conclusions that I drew as a child, is that I can't have what I want, no matter how badly I might want it, or even if what I wanted had been promised to me, offered to me, that it can be taken away in a heartbeat and that there's nothing I can do about that. So I live with a little bit of fear that what I want won't materialize, or will disappear, or will be taken away. Maybe I even help to manifest that happening, if that's a fear and an anticipation. Another one of those core wounds that I carry around, that I'm aware of, is that people will leave me. This is a hard one, because I have been left by a lot of people I love. And yeah, if you think I'm feeling sorry for myself right now, you would be right. I am. I don't think there's any shame in feeling sad for things that are sad. I'm grieving losses, and I'm anticipating more. I remember feeling very afraid about life when I was a child, when I was 9, and my first great grandparent died. And I had my 4 grandparents and my 5 additional great grandparents when I was born, and then they started dying on me. So the first one died when I was 8 or 9. I was in 3rd grade, living in Charlottesville, Virginia. I remember everything in my life as an Army brat, by where I lived at the time, and then as an adult with whom I was pregnant. So I was not pregnant in 3rd grade, but I do remember where I lived. I was in Charlottesville, Virginia, and we had just had a full eclipse of the sun. I remember that because I've been in the direct path of that now twice. Most recently here in Oregon in 2017. But back when I was a child and my first great grandparent died, I remember being struck by the impermanence of life, and it shocked me and it hurt me, and I was devastated by that, because I knew the other ones were going to die, and then my grandparents, my nanas and my papas, they were going to die, and my parents were going to die, and I was going to die. Everybody I loved was going to die. And that's hard enough to deal with, the fact that death is part of life and that people die. That's hard to contend with, whether you're 9 or going on 59. But what's harder is when people choose to leave. When people I love who have loved me choose to leave, especially the ones who don't want me in their life anymore. And it's like they forgot who I was and what we had, whether we're talking about a friend or a partner or a child. I don't know how many other parents have lost children due to divorce or your own actions that inadvertently hurt your child, but I've lost some. These were these were children I loved deeply, that I lived with 24/7 for 25 years. And there are things that happen when marriages break up and divorces happen, that there's a lot of pain, and people can do really hurtful things in the name of pain. They can lash out. And there's a thing called parental alienation syndrome, and the people who perpetuate it are unaware that they're doing it, which makes it even harder because it can't be addressed. But the children are the ones who are hurt most by it. So there are some children I've not been able to speak with in 10 years, that I think about every day, that I love. And there are others who I lost, who I gained back, and then some that I had that I lost later. And I know I'm part of the problem. I know I can feel things so intensely, so immensely, especially pain, that when the pain is there, it can eclipse everything else, including the pain of others around me. And this has cost me dearly. So tonight, checking out a local Facebook group in the town where I used to live, where my children still live, I saw a post about some people who were running for city council. It's a good thing. People want to make a difference in their community. And the town of Dallas, Oregon is going through a whole lot. It's had a very racist past, and there are some really good people who are coming together who want to make a difference, and I applaud that. And in this thread, it was mentioned that someone was running for mayor, and one of my sons was, I found out he's running for city council, and I didn't know. I would have liked to have known. I would like to know what's going on in the lives of my children, even when they're married and having a life of their own. The hard part is when it was mentioned by someone I know and love that he is the son, my son is the son of my ex-husband and his new wife, that they are his parents. And I wasn't mentioned. He was my baby. I gave birth to him and nursed him and raised him and homeschooled him, and maybe this isn't a big deal. Maybe it's just a simple an overlooking, but it gutted me. And I'm reminded of the times in my life when I was on the brink of a new chapter of my life, and I was scared, I was overwhelmed, leaving home for college and not knowing what I wanted to do, and I was supposed to figure it out, and I was 18 years old, and I was supposed to know what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, and I didn't. And then when I was getting divorced the first time, first time and second time, I'm accumulating divorces. When I was going through a divorce 10 years ago, and I felt like that 18-year-old, like I was being thrust out into this world that I didn't know. I was so naive, so sheltered, and I was scared. But I made it. I mean, I'm here. I've overcome everything so far. Odds are I'm going to overcome all that I'm facing right now, but I'm feeling alone and scared. And I needed to say it. People sometimes tell me they think I'm so strong. I guess I come across that way. I don't know. I'm told I type like a 400-pound man, but I'm like, 90 something pounds soaking wet, all 5 foot 1.5 inches tall of me, the size of a 12-year-old. I'm like 3/4 of a human. And I know I'm tenacious, and I know I figure things out, and I know I survive. But I feel like I'm tired of having to survive. Why did I put on makeup? Okay, breathe. God, it's hard to breathe through a stuffy, snotty nose. God, y'all, I wish I was as strong, half as strong as people think I am. Okay, I'm strong on one hand. I'm like, I've got all this courage and bravery or braveness. I'm brave. But I'm also vulnerable and scared. I'm still trying to figure out how this world works. I know who I am, but I feel like I don't fit in this world, and I'm supposed to know things I don't know. And I keep doing things that turn out to be not the right thing, that turn out to be wrong. And my naivete usually works on my behalf, because if I don't know how to do a thing, then I just go and do that thing and I figure it out as I go, and it like magically somehow works out. But there are times when my inner 3-year-old or 5-year-old, or whatever age she is today, gangs up on me, guys. She like looms large, and she hijacks my brain, and she screams and she cries, and she says things like, I'll never be loved, I'm not that bad, because she keeps getting punished for doing things she didn't know were bad. But you still get punished when you ignorance is no excuse, right? And she says, I just want to be safe. That's a big one. And she says, can somebody just hold me? Oh, so, I mean, I hold me a lot. I had promised myself I would not break down. And I also have a commitment to feel everything, fully as it shows up. And I also need to have something to blow my nose on, but there's nothing in reach except for my jacket, and that's gross. Okay. So it's come to my attention through the observation of our fourth and final marriage counselor, with whom we had our final session. What's today? Is today Wednesday? Yesterday. God, been a long day. Wow. It's come to my attention because of his observation that I've got some trauma that's like rising up. It's like between heart chakra and throat. So it's I'm feeling it really hard and it wants to be out. So that means it's ready to heal, which is good. You know, it's good. It's so good. And he's recommending that I find someone who's equipped in EMDR, who also happens to be, you know, aligned with my measly insurance package, and you know, who's taking clients during COVID via this thingy we're doing here, the Zoom platform. Who, because I would like so much to take that little girl inside me and hold her and love her and let her know that she's safe and she's loved and she's protected, and that she and I, we're going to be okay. No matter what happens, no matter who stays, who goes, who accepts me, who thinks or doesn't think I'm too much, too intense, too whatever. And I would love to integrate her into me because I think she's beautiful. She deserves to be loved. So do I. So I'm going to love me. And I'm going to be open to the love that others have for me. And I'm going to keep feeling all the feelings, and I'm going to keep honoring all the pain, and I'm going to keep my heart wide open. Oh, goodness. Well, I don't know if I'm going to have the courage, the bravety, or whatever word I just made up to share this. If you're still here, if you're still watching, thanks for witnessing this. Whatever's going on in your world, whatever hurts, whatever feels scary, however you feel vulnerable, keep showing up for you and for the people in your life that you love, because you matter and you're worth it, just like me. Okay. I'm gonna wrap it up and I'm gonna go find something to blow my nose on, because yeah. Okay, bye.